Breaking news, an attack on Putin's palace, a joint strike by the Air Force. All of Russia is in an uproar. This has never happened before. The dictator's residence is in the crosshairs. This changes everything. Let's go through it step by step. Hello everyone, this is Ukraine. Today, Renata Aslanova and the latest developments. Sensational news. Air Force drones attacked Sochi, where the residence of the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin, Bocharov-Ruche, is located. According to media reports, the Russian dictator had just arrived in Sochi before the attack. The governor of Krasnodar Krai reported the death of one person, a car driver who was hit by debris from a downed drone. According to him, about 6 private homes were damaged. That night, air raid sirens went off 3 times in Sochi. The city's airport was closed for more than 30 minutes. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, 2 drones were allegedly shot down over Krasnodar Krai during the night and another 15 over the Black Sea. Journalists note that Putin may have been in Sochi during the attack. Before that, he participated via video link in another BRICS meeting.
The Flight Radar 24 service shows that several hours before the attack, an IL-96-300PU aircraft with the tail number RA-96024 arrived in Sochi, the same plane the Russian dictator previously used to fly to a meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump.
Sochi is the location of the Bocharov-Ruche residence. Previously, Putin could spend weeks in the city, but after Ukrainian drones began attacking Sochi, the dictator has hardly visited the city at all. For example, during his visit to the Valdai Club in November 2024, he spent only 1 day in Sochi and spent the night aboard the plane. And this is not the first time that Ukrainian drones have caught up with the Russian dictator. For example, on August 31st, the governor of Krasnodar Krai reported that a fire near Gelendzhik was extinguished after a drone crashed just a few kilometers from Putin's palace. The fire was fought for 4 days. According to the governor, more than 500 people worked to put out the fire over the course of 4 days. 100 pieces of equipment were involved in extinguishing the fire, including 2 Mi-8 helicopters. But it wasn't just Putin's residences that came under hellish fire from the Ukrainian Armed Forces. For instance, a powerful explosion occurred in Russia's Saratov region. It was reported that the main oil pipeline was blown up there. This dealt a serious blow to the Kremlin's military machine. According to sources in the main intelligence directorate, as a result of the explosion, the main oil pipeline Kuybyshev-Lysychansk, which supplied petroleum products to the Russian occupation army, was put out of commission. Preliminary information indicates that the affected facility had a capacity of 82 million tons per year. According to reports from Russian media, on the morning after the explosion, there was a gathering of workers at the scene attempting to eliminate the consequences of the attack. The aggressors once again explained the explosion as part of scheduled exercises. It is worth noting that this was the 3rd Russian oil and gas infrastructure facility to be put out of commission in just the past 24 hours. Ukraine has become the first country in the world to use artificial intelligence to coordinate drone swarms on the battlefield. This innovative technology could become a driving force in modern warfare, allowing dozens or even thousands of drones to work together to overcome enemy defenses. Military experts are calling this the next stage of drone warfare. More details in our report.
AI-powered drone swarms have already entered the battlefield. At this new frontier of warfare, Ukraine is using technology that allows groups of drones to communicate and make decisions independently of their operator.
According to Western journalists, Ukraine is using artificial intelligence in military operations so that groups of drones can coordinate their actions to attack well-defended Russian positions. Military experts claim that operations involving large and small groups of drones represent a new stage in the war. Such innovations make it possible to deploy dozens or even thousands of drones simultaneously to overcome any air defense systems and target defenses, whether it's a city or a specific military facility.
If it becomes possible to scale up production and there are so-called swarm attacks, meaning when a swarm is flying, it's clear that you can shoot down part of the swarm, but you can't shoot down all 100 drones flying at the same time. Well, in this case, of course, there will be major disruptions to the energy system, significant disruptions to the transportation system, and the destruction of normal life will begin. We've actually seen this year with air transport, and now we're seeing it with railways. This drone war has made Russia weak. It's impossible to deploy air defense systems everywhere. There simply aren't enough of them.
Analysts assure that this innovative technology is a harbinger of the future of warfare. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian company that developed the unique software is lifting the veil of secrecy a bit on what can be expected from this new military development. The swarm of strike drones acts like a living organism, analyzing what's happening in real time and making decisions based on the situation.
The drones can decide which one will strike first and adapt to circumstances. For example, if one of them runs out of battery. Ukrainian forces began using this technology about a year ago for laying mines. Now it is being used to target Russian military equipment and infrastructure.
And it must be admitted, they are using it extremely effectively in the Kremlin area. The very phrase drone swarm makes your knees tremble. Even the enemy admits that they simply have nothing to counter such advanced Ukrainian weaponry.
It really is impressive.
By the way, if something goes wrong during such an autonomous operation, the system immediately hands control over to a human operator. Fortunately, another cutting-edge Ukrainian technology promises to help with this, the Calibri 13 FR1. This is a so-called relay drone for FPV featuring autonomous navigation and robust stability. It's a cheap alternative to the Chinese DJI, which is widely used on the front lines.
At the very beginning of the Russian invasion, Russia was striking with missiles and drones almost unopposed. Ukraine couldn't respond. There was practically nothing to strike back with on Russian territory. But now, here we are. Now Ukraine has drones that are taking out Russian industry. Ukraine has acquired long-range missiles, but as Putin says, the special military operation is going according to plan. Apparently, this is part of the plan too.
The new domestically produced UAV is not just a drone. It's an entire system that includes 2 relay carriers, a ground control station, and additional antennas. This approach makes it possible to ensure a stable communication channel at the tactical level. The drone's design is modular, which allows for quick replacement of damaged components right on the battlefield. Among the advantages of the Ukrainian Calibria are its resistance to strong winds, low temperatures, and its ability to operate both day and night. But
When they are taught to interact with each other, when they are taught to guide one another to targets or to cover each other, so to speak, just like we see at various Chinese shows where drones perform all sorts of beautiful formations in the sky, it will be the same thing. Only in war, this will be absolute chaos, and it's completely unclear how anyone will be able to deal with it if drones are taught, so to speak, to make certain decisions on their own, especially if drones are taught to make decisions about engaging targets. That would be an absolute nightmare, truly terrifying.
so how does the Kremlin respond to all this? Instead of developing new types of air defense systems, Putin is putting all the efforts of the Russian defense industry into creating more and more methods of terror. In particular, he is actively improving his Shahed drones, training them to strike residential buildings of peaceful Ukrainians with even greater precision. This unpleasant news for us was recently shared by a military radio technology specialist with the call sign Flash. According to him, Russian mopeds have recently become much more dangerous and deadly.
A fresh find just now? As you can see, there are antennas on the edges of the wings, modems and cameras. Unfortunately, unlike the Geran, it's not possible to proceed. They are being disassembled and burned. For those who don't know, this is a new version of the Shahed, which can be controlled online from Russia. It can conduct reconnaissance and even attack moving targets.
However, credit where it's due, the Ukrainian defense industry began working on improving Ukraine's air defense system long before this. Staying ahead of the enemy, our engineers are already actively developing our own version of HIMARS. The foreign missile system has proven its effectiveness on the battlefield. It offers high accuracy and the ability to operate at long distances. This is exactly what we need. For Ukraine, having its own counterpart to American weaponry means not only reducing dependence on supplies from allies, but also the ability to adapt the system to modern warfare conditions and the specific nature of combat operations. For now, the technical specifications of the Ukrainian system are not being disclosed. However, experts suggest that it involves a wheeled platform with high mobility, capable of launching guided missiles at distances of hundreds of kilometers. So it's high time for the occupiers to start preparing for new surprises from the Ukrainian Armed Forces.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian Armed Forces are actively using all their new weapons against the enemy. Donetsk exploded. The great liberation has begun. A combined strike hit the occupiers directly. Our forces have achieved the impossible.
Ukraine's defense forces carried out a combined attack using drones and cruise missiles on Russian military targets in the city of Donetsk.
It's a direct hit.
According to analysts, at least 5 cruise missiles struck the Russian army's command post located on the grounds of the former Tapas factory. Previously, the facility produced long-range reconnaissance and early warning air defense systems. After Russia's attack on Ukraine and the occupation of Donetsk in 2014, the occupiers used the industrial zone of the former Tapas factory as a base for equipment and personnel. However, now that's definitely all in the past.
Crazy, something landed nearby? Don't know, get out of here. Out of the galaxy. There's a foamy instructor's foe over there.
The drone and missile movement was organized on the territory of the Research Institute of Complex Automation, where the command post of the 41st General Army is located.
I answer. Yeah. No. No!
Moreover, the warbirds also set fire to the command post of the 20th Guards Motor Rifle Division. Unusual footage of the destruction has already appeared online. In the Donetsk region, explosions also thundered in Yenakiv and Makivka.
Look, just...
Awesome! Awesome!
Awesome! Awesome!
It's burning, yeah.
A substation.
The Russians tried their best to hit the targets, but judging by the footage of the strikes, they were unsuccessful.
It's coming! It's coming! It's coming right on target! It's coming! In the...
In Makivka, air defense struck directly at a residential building, sparking a massive fire. The missile has already managed to cause panic in Russia. Ukraine has used this weapon for the first time. The missile is more powerful than the American Tomahawk and is already tormenting the enemy. The first strikes are surprising. Flamingo is the beginning of real hell on earth for the occupiers. What other surprises has Ukraine prepared? More details in the report.
A warhead weighing a ton and a range of well over 1,000 kilometers. Ukrainian photographer Efrem Lukatsky, who works with the Associated Press, published a photo of the new Ukrainian long-range Flamingo missile.
Flamingo missiles of Ukrainian production, with a range of over 3,000 kilometers and already in serial production, can be seen in the workshop of one of the country's leading defense companies. In the commentary,
Under the photo, it is noted that it was taken on August 14th in the workshop of the defense company Firepoint. The photo shows the missiles in the workshop already ready for shipment. It appears that the Flamingo may already be in serial production. Ukrainian official sources in the missile sector have long hinted that the Ukrainian defense industry is preparing a long-range surprise for the Russians. And apparently Flamingo is exactly the surprise they were talking about. According to military analysts, the missile is very simple to produce, and that's exactly what Ukraine needs right now.
This is great news. The missile really is simple. It can't be compared to the likes of Storm Shadow, Scalp, and so on. But in this case, we don't need a very complex guidance system. More modern American or British missiles have visual guidance systems that can home in on infrared images, even when various counter-missile measures are used. In this case, we don't need that. Pavel Norozhny, military expert.
All known facts indicate that the Flamingo is actually the already known FP-5 cruise missile from Millennium Group. The specifications, appearance of the missile, as well as their descriptions are identical.
There is the capability to produce more than 50 missiles of this type per month. Such a production rate is due to an economic approach where, for the sake of mass production, complex design features like containerized launch and folding wings had to be sacrificed. The price for this is a longer pre-launch preparation, which takes at least 20 to 40 minutes. Nevertheless, given the capabilities of the FP-5, this is quite to be expected. The company also stated that the missile uses satellite navigation that is resistant to electronic warfare measures. It is combined with an inertial guidance system. According to Defense Express,
the warhead of the Flamingo is 1 ton, which is twice as powerful as the American Tomahawk, and most importantly, it is designed for mass production. Russia systematically tries to knock out the Ukrainian defense industry, and Ukraine needs to act in the same way, focus on destroying the Russian military-industrial complex.
And it is enormous in size, and we see that most of these factories can be hit with cheap drones that fly not at 1,000 kilometers per hour like this missile, but at a speed of 200-250 kilometers per hour. So right now we need a large number of inexpensive means that can effectively destroy the Russian economy and military-industrial complex, and this missile is capable of doing just that. Pavel Norozhny, military expert.
Kyiv has not made any official statements about the new long-range Flamingo missile, and in this case, most likely everyone will simply see the results of the Flamingo's strike on Russian military factories.
And what do you think about the latest news? Share your opinions in the comments. Like this video and stay up to date with the main events. There's more to come.